Hello students, today we will study Unit 3 Classification of Elements and Periodicity in Properties. So in this we will study Dobereiner's law of triads, Newland's law of octaves, Mendeleev's periodic table and modern periodic table. Earlier attempts to classify elements. So we will see that with the passage of time, more and more elements were discovered. So it was very difficult to study so many elements. So scientists tried to classify elements on the basis of their properties. So first attempt was done by Dobereiner. So Dobereiner gave law of triads, or we can say triplets. So this Dobereiner's law of triads show a relationship between atomic weights and the chemical properties of elements. Certain similar elements exist in groups of three elements called triads. Elements are arranged in order of increasing atomic masses, and atomic mass of the middle element is the arithmetic mean of the atomic weights of the other two elements in the triad. So what does this mean? Suppose we talk about first group element, lithium, sodium and potassium. So atomic weight of lithium is 7 and atomic weight of potassium is 39. Now when we take the average of 7 and 39, then it will come out as 23. Like if we do 7 plus 39 upon 2, so it will come out as 23. So that means according to Dobereiner law of triads, if we take three consecutive elements or three successive elements of the same group, and if we arrange them in the increasing order of their atomic masses, then always the atomic mass of middle element will be the average of the atomic masses of other two elements. Same we can see in case of second group elements also. We are having the continuous elements calcium, strontium and barium. So atomic mass of calcium is 40, atomic mass of barium is 137. So average of 40 and 137 is nearly equal to 88. Okay, it is nearly equal to 88, and actual atomic mass of strontium is 88. So that means this law of triad is applicable to the triplet of calcium, strontium and barium. If we talk about 17 group elements, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So here we will see that the atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5 and atomic mass of iodine is 127. An average of 35.5 and 127 is nearly equal to 80, and the actual atomic mass of bromine is 80. So that means Dobereiner law of triads is applicable to the triplets chlorine, bromine and iodine also. But a limitation of Dobereiner's triad is that it is not applicable to all the triplets of the periodic table. So it is applicable only to few triplets or few consecutive elements of the groups of periodic table. So what is the limitation of Dobereiner's law of triad? That this law of triads is applicable to a limited number of elements. So that's why the other scientist Newland came forward with his law of octaves. So the second law or second attempt to classify elements was done by Newland, and that is known as Newland's law of octaves. In Newland's law of octaves, elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic weights, and it was noticed that every eighth element had the properties similar to the first element. This relationship was similar to every eighth note that resembles the first in octaves of music. Okay, like we have sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. So sa will be repeated after seven notes. So the eighth note sa and the first note sa are same. Similarly, when we say re, so again re will be repeated after seven notes. So eighth note is similar to the first note. In the same way, when we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weights, so here you can see that all these earlier attempts were based on atomic weights. So when we arrange the elements lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium and calcium in the increasing order of their atomic weights. So here you will see that hydrogen is not taken because at the time of Newland's law of octaves, hydrogen was not discovered, as well as noble gases were also not discovered. So hydrogen and helium were not discovered. So we are having lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Then neon was not discovered. Then we are having sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. Then again noble gas argon was not discovered. So then we are having potassium and calcium. So here we will see that lithium, sodium, potassium, these three elements which are repeated, which are the eighth element, are having same properties. Like first lithium is there, then after seven elements the eighth element sodium is there, which is having the same property similar to lithium. Similarly, after sodium, after having seven elements, the eighth element is potassium. So it is also having property similar to sodium. So all these lithium, sodium and potassium are having similar properties. If we talk about beryllium, so after beryllium the eighth element is magnesium, and after magnesium the eighth element is calcium, and these three are having similar properties. But we will see that Newland's law of octaves could not be applied beyond calcium. Okay, so this law of octaves is applicable only up to calcium, having atomic number 40. Sorry, atomic mass 40. Now next is Mendeleev's periodic table. So we will see that Mendeleev's periodic table is again based on atomic weights. So here also the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic weights. Now what is the Mendeleev periodic law? So this may be asked in the exam in 1 mark. So Mendeleev periodic law, the statement is the properties of the elements are periodic function of their atomic weights. Now what does this sentence mean? Periodic function means repetition in properties at regular intervals. So here we will see that the properties are repeated if we arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weights. So if you arrange the elements in the increasing order of atomic weights, then there is a repetition in properties at regular intervals. So here we will see that we are having 8 groups in Mendeleev's periodic table, denoted by Roman number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we are having 6 periods in the Mendeleev's periodic table. So this you have to remember that there are 8 groups and 6 periods in Mendeleev's periodic table. We will see over here that from first group to 7 groups, we are having again 2 types A and B. And 8 group elements are called transition elements. Now group 1 element forms oxide of the type RO and hydride of the type RH. Group 2 elements, okay, in group 1 there is a mistake, here it will be R2O. Okay, so they form oxide of the type R2O and hydride of the type RH. Group 2 elements form oxide of the type RO and hydride of the type RH2. Group 3 elements form oxides of the type R2O3 and hydrides of the type RH3. Group 4 elements form oxides of the type RO2 and hydride of the type RH4. Group 5 elements form oxide of the type R2O5 and hydride of the type RS3. Group 6 elements form oxide of the type RO3 and hydride of the type RH2. Group 7 elements form oxide of the type R2O7 and hydride of the type RH. And group 8 elements form oxide of the type RO4. So first group elements we are having hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, copper, rubidium, silver, cesium, gold. Group 2 elements we are having beryllium, magnesium, calcium, zinc, strontium, cadmium, barium, mercury. Group 3 elements are boron, aluminium, scandium, gallium, ytterbium, indium, lanthanum, thallium. Group 4 elements are carbon, silicon, titanium, germanium, zirconium, tin, hafnium, lead. Group 5th elements are nitrogen, phosphorus, vanadium, arsenic, niobium, antimony, tantalum, bismuth. Group 7 elements are oxygen, sulfur, chromium, selenium, molybdenum, tellurium, tungsten. Group 7 elements are fluorine, chlorine, manganese, bromine, tellurium, iodine. Group 8 elements are iron, cobalt, nickel, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, osmium, iridium and platinum. So this is the Mendeleev's periodic table. So here we will see that what are the defects in the Mendeleev periodic table. The position of hydrogen is not justified. So position of hydrogen is not fixed in the Mendeleev's periodic table. That is the limitation of Mendeleev periodic table. Second defect of Mendeleev periodic table is certain elements of higher atomic masses precede those with lower atomic weights. So in some cases, instead of increasing order of atomic masses, there is a decreasing order of atomic mass. So that is again limitation of Mendeleev periodic table, because Mendeleev periodic table is, in Mendeleev periodic table, elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses. But somewhere instead of an increase in the order of atomic masses, there is a decrease in the order of atomic weights. Let us see in the table. Here you can see that cobalt is having atomic mass 58.93 and nickel is having atomic mass 58.71. So when we move from cobalt to nickel, instead of an increase in the atomic mass, there is a decrease in the atomic mass. So here the law is not followed, not obeyed. Then another example is iodine and tellurium. Atomic mass of tellurium is 127.60 and atomic mass of iodine is 126.90. So this shows that tellurium is having higher atomic mass than iodine. Even then, tellurium is placed first and iodine is placed afterwards. So again there is a limitation or defect in the Mendeleev's periodic table. Then third defect of Mendeleev periodic table is isotopes are placed in the same position in the table. We know that the same element exists in more than one forms. Like hydrogen is having 3 isotopes, 1H1, 1H2 and 1H3, protium, deuterium, tritium. Now all the 3 isotopes of hydrogen are having different atomic masses. So these 3 isotopes of hydrogen should be arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses in the Mendeleev periodic table, as it is based on atomic mass. Still, the 3 isotopes of hydrogen are not given separate positions. So they are placed at one position only. Similarly, isotopes of carbon C12, C13, C14, they are not placed in the separate position, but they are placed in the same position in the periodic table. So different isotopes of same element are not placed in the different position. That is the limitation of Mendeleev periodic table. However, according to Mendeleev's law, they should be placed in different position, which is not done. So next is modern periodic law, or we can say the present form of periodic table. Here we will see that modern periodic table is also known as long form of periodic table, okay, because it is the longest periodic table up till today. So that's why it is also known as long form of periodic table. Now what is the modern periodic law? That may be asked in 1 mark in the exam. So its statement is the physical and chemical properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. So here we will see that till now why other periodic tables were suffering from the limitations, because they were based on atomic weights. But modern periodic table, why it is acceptable periodic table, why it did not have any limitations? Because this is based on atomic numbers. So here we will see that the physical and chemical properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic numbers. What does this mean? That if we arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic numbers, then periodic function means there is a repetition in the properties of elements at regular intervals. So which properties are repeated at regular intervals? Both physical as well as chemical properties are repeated at regular intervals. So let us see modern periodic table, which is also known as long form. Okay, it is LONG, long form of the periodic table. So here we can see modern periodic table. The vertical columns in the modern periodic table are called groups. So there are total 18 groups. Okay, this is first group, second group, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there are 18 vertical columns known as groups, and there are 7 horizontal rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 horizontal rows are called periods. Now here you can see that after atomic number 56, here we are having 57. So here we are having 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and thereafter over here you are having 72. So what does this mean? That from atomic number 57 to atomic number 71, all these elements will come in this single bracket. Okay, so all these will come in the single box. In the same way, here 88 is there, and here we are having 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, and then we are having 104 over here. So this shows that right from atomic number 89 to 103, all the 14 elements will be in this single box. Okay, so as you cannot write the whole series in a single box, that's why it is written separately. In the same way, here also there are 14 elements which are written separately. So generally what happens, in the modern periodic table, all those elements which belong to same group are having same properties. So elements in the group are having same properties, but here from lanthanum to lutetium, elements in the same period are having same property. That's why the whole series from lanthanum to lutetium is kept under single group, so that it should be maintained that the properties of the elements in the same group is same. In the same way, from atomic number 89 to 103, elements in the same period are having same properties, while generally if they are having same property, they should be the elements of same group. That's why the whole series is kept under single group. So horizontal rows are called periods. So in modern periodic table there are 7 periods, and vertical columns are called groups. So in modern periodic table we are having 18 groups. Elements having similar outer electronic configurations in their atoms are arranged in groups or families. So here we will see that generally all those elements which are having the same outermost electronic configuration are placed under same group. Now what about the IUPAC nomenclature of elements with atomic number 100 or more than 100? So generally we will see that Latin word roots for various digits are listed in the given table which are used in IUPAC nomenclature of elements. If 0 is there as a digit, then we write the name nil, NIL nil, and for that abbreviation is small n. If digit is 1 in the atomic number, if digit is 1, then we are writing the name UN, UN, and for that abbreviation is small u. If 2 is the digit in the atomic number, then we are writing BI, by, so we write small b. If 3 is there, we say try, we write small t. If digit in the atomic number is 4, then we write quad, QUAD, and the abbreviation is small q. If digit is 5, we write pent, and the abbreviation is small p. If digit is 6, we write hex, and for that abbreviation is small h. If digit is 7, then the name is sept, and we write the abbreviation small s. If digit is 8, we write oct, and for that abbreviation is small o. And if digit is 9, we write ENN, and for that the abbreviation is small e. So Latin words for various digits of the atomic number are written together in the order of digits which make up the atomic number, and at the end IUM is added. So nomenclature of elements with atomic number above 100 is listed below. So if the element is having atomic number 101, so for 1 we will write un, for 0 we will write nil, and for the last digit 1 we will write un, and after writing the name in the order of the digits, at the end we have to write IUM, so it is un nil unium. So symbol of un is u, for nil symbol is UN, and for un we are having symbol u, so we can write symbol as UNU. If 102 is there, we will write, for 1 we will write un, for 0 we will write nil, and for 2 we will write by, and at the end you will write IUM, so it will become un nil bium. If 103 is there, we will write un nil trium. If 104 is there, we will write un nil quadium. 105 un nil pentium. 106 un nil hexium. 107 un nil septium. 108 un nil octium. 109 un nil ennium. 110 un nil unium. Nilium. Nilium. For 111 unium. Now here you have to remember that when you are writing un for the first one, you will write UN. When you are writing un for the second one, again you will write UN. But when you are writing un for the third one, then you will not write UN, but you will write UNN. Okay, so UN, and then UNN. IUM, unium. 112 bium. 113 trium. 114 quadium. 115 pentium. 116 hexium. 117 septium. 118 octium. So you'll see that this IUPAC naming were given to these elements whose official names were not given. Means after that discovery, until their official name is given, till that time they are given IUPAC name, but afterwards these IUPAC names are replaced by their official names. For example, 101, after its discovery it was given the name nil unium, but afterwards when its official name is given, Mendelevium, it replaced the IUPAC name. So now the element with 101 is named as Mendelevium, 102 Nobelium, 103 Lawrencium, 104 Rutherfordium, 105 Dubnium, 106 Seaborgium, 107 Bohrium, 108 Hessnium, 109 Meitnerium, 110 Darmstadtium, 111 Rhodium, and till today all the elements up to 118 are given the names. So for that you can refer your latest textbook, so you will see that till 118 all the official names are given till today. Now next is electronic configuration in the modern periodic table. So when we talk about electronic configuration in periods, period indicates the value of n, small n, that is principal quantum number for the outermost or valence shell. Successive period in the periodic table is associated with the filling of the next higher principal energy level. So if the electrons are filled in the first in the first orbit, until that the element will be in the first period. For example, hydrogen. In hydrogen the configuration is 1s1, and in helium the configuration is 1s2. So in both hydrogen and helium the electron enters in the first orbit. So that's why these two elements belong to first period. Now from lithium to neon, the last electron enters in the second orbit. So that's why from lithium to neon the elements belong to second period. So that means period indicates the value of principal quantum number n, small n, which is nothing but the number of orbit. So in first period n will be equal to 1. For example, hydrogen it is 1s1 and helium it is 1s2. So we are having 1s1. So in front we are having principal quantum number 1. So in hydrogen also principal quantum number is 1, and in helium also principal quantum number is 1. So that's why they belong to the first period. So in first period we are having maximum 2 elements, that is hydrogen and helium. In the second period n will be equal to 2. Like in case of lithium it is 1s2 2s1. So last electron enters in second period. Beryllium 1s2 2s2. So last electron enters in second period. Boron 1s2 2s2 2p1. So last electron enters in the second period. Up till neon 1s2 2s2 2p6. So last electron enters in second period. So all these 8 elements, right from lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, they belong to second period. In the third period n will be equal to 3. So filling of electrons in 3s and 3p orbitals give rise to 8 elements. As we can see that in 3s orbital there will be maximum 2 electrons, and in 3p orbital there will be maximum 6 electrons. So 2 plus 6 is 8. So that means 1 by 1 from 1 till 8 electrons can be filled. So there will be total 8 elements in the third period, right from sodium to argon, Na to Ar. Then in the fourth period n will be equal to 4, and in fourth period there will be 18 elements from potassium, that is K, to krypton, Kr. So from K to Kr. So here we will see there will be filling up of electrons in 4s orbital, then 3d orbitals will be filled, and thereafter 4p orbitals will be filled. So here you can see that initially 4s orbital will be filled, and in 4s orbital maximum 2 electrons will be there. Then 3d orbitals will be filled, in which maximum 10 electrons will be there, and then 4p orbital will be filled, in which there will be maximum 6 electrons. So 2 plus 10 plus 6, so it will come out as 18. So there will be 18 elements. So here you can see that 3d orbitals are energetically favorable. So here we will see that 4s orbital is having less energy, 3d will be having more energy, and 4p will be having even more energy. So in the increasing order of the energies, various orbitals will be filled. Now here we will see that in the fourth period there will be 3d transition series from scandium to zinc. That is scandium having electronic configuration 3d1 4s2. So last electron enters in 3d orbital to zinc, having electronic configuration 4s2 3d10. So last electron enters in 3d orbital. So right from scandium to zinc, as the last electron enters in 3d orbital, that's why it is called 3d transition series. So here we will see that in all these elements from scandium to zinc, as the last electron enters in 3d orbital, so that means here principal quantum number n will be equal to 3. So here we will see that from potassium to krypton, the last electron enters in fourth orbit, but in that there is a 3d transition series from scandium to zinc, in which last electron enter in third orbit. So that you can see in the periodic table. See, this is the fourth period from potassium to krypton, but in between you are having the series from scandium to zinc. So this series from scandium to zinc, which is in between the period, is called 3d transition series. Similarly, from rubidium to xenon, it is the fifth period, but in between you will be having the elements from ytterbium to cadmium, in which the last electron will enter in 4d orbital. So that will be known as 4d transition series. So you can see that in fifth period we are having 18 elements from rubidium to xenon, but in between you are having the series which I have discussed just now only, ytterbium to cadmium, in which the last electron enters in 4d orbital. So it is called 4d transition series. Then in the sixth period, n equal to 6, 32 elements are there, in which the electron enters in 6s, 4f, 5d and 6p orbitals successively. So first electrons will enter in 6s, then in 4f, then 5d and then 6p. Elements from z equal to 58 to 71 are called 4f inner transition series or lanthanoid series, where the last electron enters in 4f orbital. So here you can see that in sixth period we are having the elements from cesium to radon, but in between we are having this single bracket in which there are elements from lanthanum to lutetium. So this lanthanum to lutetium are those elements in which the last electron enters in 4f orbital. Now 4f orbital is called inner transition series. Okay, so these elements belong to 4f inner transition series. So scandium to zinc and ytterbium to cadmium were known as transition series, while lanthanum to lutetium are called inner transition series because the last electron enters in inner 4f orbital. Similarly, in the seventh period from francium to Og, that is known as oganesson, atomic number 118, all these elements are called seventh period elements. So in seventh period again there are 32 elements, but out of these 32 elements from actinium to lawrencium, these 14 elements are having the last electron entering in the 5f orbital, and the 5f orbital is the inner orbital. That's why they are called 5f inner transition series. So in case of seventh period, n equal to 7, electrons enter at 7s, then 5f, then 6d and 7p orbital successively. The first electron enters in 7s orbital, then the rest of the electrons in 5f, then rest of the electrons will enter in 6d, and then rest of the electrons will enter in 7p orbital successively, filling up of 5f orbitals after actinium, as we have discussed just now, from actinium to Lawrencium, that is from atomic number 89 to 103. The last electron enters in 5f orbital. That's why they are called 5f inner transition series, because 5f orbital is the inner orbital. So that's why they are called 5f inner transition series, or they are also known as actinoid series. So elements after lanthanum, that is from cerium onwards, are called lanthanoid series, and elements after actinium are called actinoid series. So let us see electronic configuration in groups. Same number of electrons is present in the outermost orbitals in the same group. That means in the same group all the elements are having similar valence shell electronic configuration. For example, let us take an example of group 1 elements. So when we write the electronic configuration of group 1 elements, so group 1 elements are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. So you can remember like this: Lina, Lina, that is Lina, ne, key, for K we can say key, RB, rub, CS, say, FR, faryad, Lina ne ki, rub se faryad. So in this way you can remember. So atomic number of lithium is 3, sodium 11, potassium 19, rubidium 37, cesium 55 and francium 87. So electronic configuration of lithium is 1s2 2s1. Total 3 electrons are there. So 1s2 2s1, or you can write down helium 2s1. For sodium we can write 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s1. Now up to 2p6 it is the electronic configuration of neon. So we can write, or we can write it as square bracket neon and then 3s1. Then for potassium we are having 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6 4s1. Now up to 3p6 it is the electronic configuration of argon. So we can write argon in the square bracket and then 4s1. For rubidium we are having 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6 3d10 4s2 4p6 5s1. Now up to 4p6 it is the configuration of krypton. So in the square bracket we can write krypton. So up to atomic number 36 we have krypton, and thereafter we are having 37. So that means one more electron, so 5s1. Then for cesium we are having 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6 3d10 4s2 4p6 4d10 5s2 5p6 6s1. So up to 5p6 we are having the configuration similar to xenon. So in the square bracket we'll write xe and thereafter 6s1. And in case of francium, atomic number 87, so up to 86 we have radon. So in the square bracket we can write Rn and thereafter we can write 7s1. So here you can see that in the first group elements from lithium to francium, the last electronic configuration is ns1. Okay, for example 2s1 3s1 4s1 5s1 6s1 7s1. So outermost shell electronic configuration is same, that is ns1. So that means all the elements belonging to same group have same outer shell, or we can say valence shell electronic configuration. So here all these elements are having one electron in the outermost shell. That's why they are called first group elements. And first group elements are also called alkali metals. Okay, ALKALI, alkali metals. So that's all for today. Thank you.